So today we're going to talk about many questions that are asked to me. How to set up my tray, how to set up my space for tea making. So we're going to go through that today. The ceremonial, how you do dry brewing with a tray and also without. Today we're going to share some of methods and how we set up our tea table. Now there are ways that we do set up for ceremonial, we do it for dry brewing. Dry brewing methods actually came about just for a few years, a more simplified way of how we make our tea. But right now the first one I'm going to go through is a ceremonial, which is a little bit more things we'll need on our table. I have a table that fits 6 people here, so I like to set it up with a table runner. Personally, I find table runner actually warms up the place quite nicely, and I feel more welcoming when I have a runner. Now, if you happen to have a shorter table at home and you do have a table runner, you can ways that we set up. You don't have to go fall on it, in the end doesn't have to fall on each side. You can also roll it up and make it a little bit smaller like that too. That we call it actually called calligraphy style. Calligrapher style is actually, if you ever see calligrapher, how they write on the paper are roll up. So that is one style. But today I'm gonna go with fold of let it fall on both sides. I like it really long. I like it more grand personally. The runner that I have today is has 2 tones to it, and I like to use both just to make it a little bit more attractive. Now the style is really, and color is entirely up to you. Red is always a very welcoming color in Chinese tea ceremony. Okay, now next thing, tea tray. Now choice of tea tray for ceremonial depends on number of people that you have. 4 to 6 size like this for 4 to 6 is actually quite sufficient. This one, a ceremonial, you require a lot more water when you pour, so a tea tray that holds water is ideal, or tea tray that actually set up with a tube that hook up onto a bucket. That would also be very ideal. Different shape, long shape, and that's all really personal choice. Now, what else we need? Of course, our tea set and tea utensils. Now, utensils, in the beginning, of course, we have everything here, and then we'll place it to how we're gonna grab the tools. Now, the tool, if you're a lefty, of course, you want it to be here. If you're right-handed, on this side. Like so. I'm right-handed, so this is gonna go there. What else you need? Our tea sets. Now, ceremonial full tea sets. You want all your cups, teapot, whatever you're gonna. Depends on number of guests that you have. So I'm gonna use 4 cups here. See now, this size of tray, definitely 4 people, is pretty marginal because I have big cups there. And a teapot. Now, one more piece that I have with this runner is a tea towel. Now, this tea towel, where you want it to be, if you're doing ceremonial, you want it actually to be close to you, because everything before you use, you want to wipe it dry here before you pour, right? And what's missing is our tea kettles. So you can use all kinds of different tea kettles of your choice. I like the glass one sometimes because it allows me to see the bubbles. And here's your tea and our tea canister where we put our tea. Okay, so basically this is how you want to set up. You want to be comfortable. Your tray is moving. It's not too close to you, so you can, if you need to look at the amount of water that you have in a liner, you are able to. It's in good distance where you're sitting. That's some of the setup that you want to be paying attention to. If you happen to be using a tea ware that has a pattern on it, make sure it's facing outward or to your guest. It's sitting on the side because that is part of the mannerism. Okay, so that is a basic tea ceremony setup. So the next one we're going to talk about dry brewing. Now dry brewing, like I said earlier, just came in to be in trend for a few years, not very long. Dry brewing is a more simplified method. So again, I always like to use my aesthetics, very important to me. So I like to use runners, and this one is a runner that I am chosen to use as a gold color. So this one, dry brewing. Why there's dry brewing? Now I find it is more ideal for more lighter teas, not so much for the darker tea that you need a lot of rinsing and stuff, because dry brewing, like its name, you're not going to be using a tons of water. But do you still rinse your tea? Yes, you do. So there we go. So dry brewing is also a simplified, and people find it, the setup is very zen, very quiet and elegant. So let's try this out. So the dry brew, actually the tray does not hold any liquid. It doesn't have any tubes to hook up to, and so it's meant to be use very little water. You can use if you don't want to use an electric kettle, that's fine. You can also use a cast iron that has no electrical cord attached to it. That is also it goes really well with it too. And so with this one, the setup, definitely you're not going to put in tons of teacups on there. If you need to, then you need to put it in the front. I'm going to use a smaller tea set today. So this one is one of my recent favorite too. You want to set it up like that. Now what you also need is a bowl. The bowl is for you to pour the water into. So this is the tea bowl, and this bowl is for holding tank for all your water, and also for your waste, like tea leaves for example. So again, depends where you want to be. I'm gonna have it here because I want my tool to be sitting on my right hand side. Now, the simplified way, typically you would probably don't need the whole set, because you would need your tongs, you would need your tea scoop, and that's pretty well all you need. Okay, so this is the setup for your dry brewing with a tray. Now, when you rinse your tea, the water, where does it go? Right? It goes to this bowl here. This is what you do. And then for all the waste, tea leaf for example, it gets also empty out into there. So it's unlike the traditional style where you can just pour the liquid right onto your tray. So this one is supposed to be very, for people who enjoy it to be more zen, they call it, like this is a zen style actually. So it's called a more simplified way of making tea. So this is how I do it. Another one you can set up, I like add a little incense onto the side. Hi, so we're gonna go through our third setup, and this one is a dry brewing method with just tea set. So like I said, if you're setting up in outside, feel free to use a runner that is bamboo. I love bamboo too, it really sets the mood. What I have here is another color of runner. I love runners, and I'm really playing with different colors this year. And so I'm having, this one is a gray with indigo blue. Isn't that beautiful? So this is 2 layers. So feel free to play with different colors of your own, whatever you like. And this one, 2 that means you're not using a tray. You have, so my choice, or my recommendation, if you're using a gaiwan, I would use the one that has a larger plate. So remember, we talked about gaiwan having 3 parts, the lid, the bowl, and the bottom saucer. And this one is a larger version of it. So you wanted to, the 2 colors actually helps you to set up in a very straight and this kind of horizontal. So one of the setup that you want to achieve is it has to look very aesthetically pleasing as well. That's all part of the tea practice and tea ceremony. So I have 6 cups here, depends on the number of guests that you have. You don't have to take everything out, but if you are serving 6 people, that's perfect. Tea towel. Remember, you want it to be close to you. So you can fold it up, you can have it like that if you prefer. I like to fold it up, I don't like it to be too wide. Okay, remember, if you are right hand, you want your fair cup to be here. And tools. Okay. Nicely placed it on the side. And yes, of course, my tea leaves right here. So tea leaf, when you have guests, you want to show them. Everyone gets a little preview of the tea leaf, and you want it to be close to you. Now a kettle, of course, if you have something that's portable, the most ideal with the dry brew simplified setup. But if you have it quart, then that's what you're gonna be using. Now, let's give it a try. Oh, one more thing, don't forget, where we're gonna hold our water. It's our bowl here. So it depends where you wanna put it. You can place your cups on the front here, and your bowl goes here. You don't want to be reaching out too far from you, okay? So you want to stay within this area. That's how your setup should be. Now setting up your tea space and your tea table, there isn't a fixed style. Do the style that you are most comfortable with. And set up the vibe and the mood that you want to create. Remember, how you set up a table shows the character of you. Enjoy, and I'll see you soon.